Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Woo here, back with a brand new video for you guys. Now, I'm not James. James is currently busy right now, so he's not going to have that much time to record for you guys. So I decided to step in and help him record some scripts and some videos for you guys. Now, before we get into today's video, I'd also like to thank all the people who supported him on Patreon. It means a lot to him and me because you're supporting my boy James, so I appreciate you guys doing that as well. A link to his Patreon will be in the description box below, along with his Discord server where you guys can talk to me, James, and other mortals like yourselves. There are quite a few people already there, and it'd be awesome if you'd like to join us as well. So it looks like he hit 6K subs. That is freaking awesome, right? So, he promised a copy of My Hero Wants Justice for the 6K sub mark. So, the winner for the Wants Justice giveaway was Omega Ryan with his comment, "His normal aura is green." So, Omega, send me, or James, sorry, not me, an email so he can find out the way of getting you My Hero Wants Justice. So, without further ado, let's get into this what if, guys. Izuku is kind of worried that Bakugo is mad and is about to follow him when All Might places a hand on Izuku's shoulder, telling him to stop in his tracks. He said, "Young Midoriya, Bakugo will need some time to cool off. Give him a day or two, and then apologize." Izuku agrees that it's a good idea and decides to go home and rest for the night. He lays in his bed, tossing and turning, about to fall asleep, feeling like he betrayed his best friend. Izuku starts to imagine how Bakugo felt, feeling like All Might was going to make him his protege, only to have his dream pulled away. It's eating him up inside, and no regeneration quirk could heal that. Meanwhile, All Might has gone to UA, where he asks Principal Nezu if they have any robots. Nezu asks why All Might would want the robots, to which he replies saying that he wants to test whether or not the healing has worked. Toshinori and Nezu go into one of the battlefields that the UA entrance exam had, and Nezu activates the robots, sending them to All Might's location. He clenches his fist and starts rushing around, destroying every robot he can with relative ease as they all fly into the air and detonate. He takes advantage of the healing and starts to bounce around, punching and kicking at the max his body will allow. After 5 minutes of all the robots being destroyed, they lay in pieces on the ground, bits and circuits and debris all around them. As Nezu comes out, All Might is breathing quite heavily and he starts to deflate. Nezu comments that All Might is in his skinny form, which is more bulky than it was before, and he asks if he feels any different. All Might then comments that if he tried to push his body like that before, he'd be coughing and wheezing and spitting out blood on the floor. The build-up to UA is quite stressful for Izuku, and he's been trying to contact Bakugo through his phone and social media, but is getting ignored extremely. This causes Izuku to have insomnia, which annoys him that his best friend will no longer answer him. He does think about going to Bakugo's house, but if Bakugo is this angry with him, that probably isn't the best idea. To deal with his insomnia, though, Izuku starts to work out, doing push-ups and sit-ups in his room to try and get to sleep, but this usually doesn't work. To also combat his insomnia, he creates 2 wristbands that have little holsters on them for pills and one of them with a syringe in it. He also works on version 2 of the pills, which come in various sizes of its blood, with them ranging from small, medium, and large, and ultra. However, he doesn't have as many of the bigger ones since the blood he needs to use it hurts him a bit, and they also can't fit on the holsters. Then the day of UA arrives, which is also the day he's been dreading. So many fears keep spiraling through his mind about Bakugo still being mad, and also that he won't be able to live up to All Might. He takes a deep breath and enters the room, where he sees Ida and Bakugo arguing across the classroom. Once the door creaks open, though, Bakugo notices Izuku and stares him down with a face of thunder. Since Izuku isn't as fearless as he was before, he doesn't turn away and is about to wave towards him when the blonde berserker walks over to his seat. The interactions are the same as normal with Uraraka and Aizawa. Aizawa tells them that they need to improve themselves by doing sport activities, and the person with the smallest amount of points will be expelled. Outside, Bakugo is picked to throw the ball and looks at Izuku in the crowd. Then he gets hot-headed, and in his rage he throws the ball with an explosion as hard as he can, which sends it in the air higher and faster before it turns into nothing but a pile of ashes. The 50-meter dash happens, and Bakugo and Izuku are put up against each other to have a race. "Let's have a good race," Izuku says, turning to Bakugo and smiling, putting his thumbs up towards him. Bakugo turns away in a deep, angry voice, and he barks, "Go to hell, Deku." This is the first time Bakugo had ever called him Deku, and it hurts Izuku a bit, but he fights through the pain. Bakugo is a little bit saddened that he had said that, but his warrior's pride gets in his way and he thinks that All Might will choose him if he works hard enough. Bakugo and Izuku start running when Izuku can see that he'll lose. He knows that Bakugo won't respect him if he loses and uses the fearlessness he had developed to try out his new quirk. His legs start to spark green as he bounces and immediately passes the finish line, shocking everyone watching. Izuku doesn't scream but smiles as he looks down to all the shocked faces. As he is looking away though, Izuku smashes into a wall and then falls to the ground, hitting his back in a pool of blood. Everyone is in panic as Izuku starts to move again, his wounds healing. His legs start to replenish enough so he can walk, slow, but if he tries to jog, he'll collapse. Aizawa then says Izuku got 0.15 seconds, which he grins at and turns to Bakugo, who just turns away disgusted. In the group test, Izuku is acting more like Bakugo would, getting cocky about it and using One For All in his left arm. He grabs the thing and accidentally breaks it, shocking everyone as his arm shatters. Aizawa tells everyone that the maximum it can hold is 1,000 kilograms and awards Izuku the points. Bakugo thinks to himself that Izuku is being a show-off and decides that he'll go all out on everything if he's going to play like that, and an evil grin grows on his face. In the sidestep challenge, Izuku actually gets a slower time as his legs are still somewhat hurting from earlier, but luckily his regeneration quirk takes care of it. He knows that he needs to cut down on breaking the bones and needs to figure out a way to use One For All without breaking his bones. He does the long jump by putting One For All in his weakened foot and in his big toe, propelling himself forward, with Bakugo starting to catch up. Then he knees the ground, getting some burns, which quickly heal, as does his feet. With the ball throw, he uses his finger on his right arm. However, he does it first try without help from Aizawa. After this, everybody cheers for him as his stamina is up. He's pushing his healing quirk too much. One For All already drains up a lot of his stamina, but combined with the healing quirk, it went overboard. He is taken to Recovery Girl's office, where he awakens to see All Might stood in front of him in his deflated form. Izuku asks what happened, to which All Might explains that he came second in the test and that some kid named Mineta was expelled. Then Izuku asks who came first, and All Might tells him Bakugo. He seemed angry when he tried to congratulate him, which Izuku also noticed that he was always the hot-headed type, but never like this. All Might then gets to the real reason why he's here, asking the young boy if he has any pills. Izuku walks to his locker and pulls out an Ultra capsule, handing it to him, which All Might grins at, putting it in his mouth and swallowing it. Suddenly his eyes open, and in a shock, his body starts to fill with pain. He lets out a huge yell and starts spitting out blood, holding his wound. This makes Izuku panic, as he takes All Might to Recovery Girl right away. After some healing, All Might starts to feel better, but confused as to what happened. Recovery Girl promising she'll run some tests on him and to figure out what happens, but first she'll need a sample of their blood. All Might cuts his finger and Izuku hands her a small pill. The two leave, with All Might starting to feel really ill. His face starts turning yellowish, which concerns Izuku, but All Might reassures him that he'll be fine tomorrow. At home, Izuku is working out when his phone rings. It's Yue. He swiftly answers it and hears that it is Recovery Girl, who tells the boy that she's deduced what's wrong with All Might. The symptoms he was showing seem to back up her hypothesis that he had a failed blood transfusion and only One For All had kept him alive. Izuku is sent into shock that he had almost killed his idol, as Recovery Girl goes on to say that Toshinori has a type A blood while Izuku has type O blood. It is okay in a smaller medium dose, but in large quantities it could kill someone, which worries him. Of course, he should have thought of this, that a blood transfusion would occur, and hangs up the phone, then ringing All Might, but getting no answer. Then he rings again, but still no answer. He is worried that he might have killed All Might, but luckily he rings back and tells Izuku that he's fine, but he's taking a couple of days off to try to get better. This makes Izuku apologize, but All Might tells him that he's helping him out with his quirk. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. So if y'all enjoyed this video, be sure to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Or, if you're already subscribed to all the fellow mortals out there, make sure you check out his Patreon to support the boy, because James is a hard-working man like your boy here. Also, I made a new video today, which is a part 9, I believe, to What If Deku Had Stayed Quirkless. So if you want to check that out, link in the description box below to my channel, and you guys can just check out that video. So if you guys enjoyed, be sure to like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on my channel, and James will see you soon. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining.